Before Stormbreaker, before Mjolnir, there was a young and even more arrogant Thor who wielded the axe Jarnborn. That all changed one night when a cry in the night led him to a severed head of a god. That face though, Thor has obviously already seen a lot. However, he's never seen this type of horror, especially in the eyes of a god. We flash forward to the present day, and the natives of the planet Indigar make a prayer to Thor. Thor is able to hear their prayers a universe away and answers them just as fast. After having some cave slime ale with the natives, Thor soon discovers that these people have no gods of their own, explaining why they called on him. Insulted by this claim, Thor vows to find their gods, and does so by flying to a space castle right outside the atmosphere. He finds riches, a library full of knowledge, but no gods. As Thor is about to end his search, he notices a door with chains on it. Breaking the chains, Thor pushes the door open and lays his eyes on the unthinkable. This was no invasion. This was no assassination. Thor has seen this horror before, but as soon as he recognizes it, the chains quickly morph into a black berserker. The berserker is a formidable foe, but as their fight rages on, we flip to the next page and jump many millennia into the future. We see an old King Thor, the last god left. And as powerful as he may be, even old King Thor cannot best a legion of endless berserkers. After encountering the black berserkers, our present-day Thor fears the worst and rushes to Omnipotence City in search of answers. Here he finds the Hall of the Lost and begins to seek out each god. Nothing but a trail of bodies and berserkers. However, even after 1,000 years, Thor still remembers the cave where Gorr taught him fear. With some help from Iron Man, Thor finds the cave. However, instead of finding Gorr, he finds Shadrach, another god who survived Gorr's wrath. Seemingly mad from encountering the God Butcher, Shadrach provides more than enough proof that Gorr is indeed still alive. After telling Thor about Kronux, they both head to Omnipotence City, but the Black Berserkers have already beaten them there. The Berserkers have set fire to the library, but Thor is not messing around anymore. Before it burns to ashes, Thor picks up a scroll and discovers Kronux is in fact a place. It is the Palace of Infinity. But Gorr is already there, and he has sacrificed all but one of the time gods to further his plans, the Pool of Forevers. Usually it only takes a few drops of god blood, but Gorr is traveling 14 billion years into the past. Gorr travels to claim the heart of an elder god. Now Gorr can finally start to build his ultimate weapon, the God Bomb. But Thor was hot on the trail. He gets a few good shots in, but he is surrounded by berserkers, and Gorr is stronger than ever. Gorr could end things now, but he makes a promise to kill Thor last. With the elder god heart, Gorr steps back into the pool and travels to complete the God Bomb. But Thor isn't done. He swings Mjolnir, throwing the berserkers off of him, and flies straight into the pool himself. And as he exits, he finds himself thousands of years in the future, face to face with his older future self. The berserkers fall to not one, but two Thors, as the arrival of our Thor seems to have broken Gorr's 900-year curse. But as we launch farther into the future, we are that much closer to Gorr completing the God Bomb. Ironically, Thor meets Gorr for the first time in the comics while on his way to pillage a village. Thor and his loyal Vikings are out at sea when suddenly the entire area is engulfed in mist. Gorr is on the hunt. Thor knows he is being watched, but he carries on and challenges the gods of what will one day be called Russia, Perun the Stormlord and Charonbog the Black, beings who fly on great winged stallions, wielding golden axes and carrying storms wherever they go. Indeed, a great winged stallion appears, but something is clearly wrong. Thor leaves the fighting to the mortals and flies towards the heavens to investigate. Conjuring up a sword, Gorr launches himself at Thor, unleashing such menacing power it would make most gods beg for mercy. But this is Thor, a name Gorr would never forget. Their first encounter is epic, as they fight in the dark clouds, spilling god blood above the mortals. Thor is strong with Jarnborn, but Gorr is engulfed with the All Black, and his entire being is a weapon. Outclassed in almost every way, it is not long before Gorr gets a good shot in on the Thunder God. While Hela is known for this scene in the MCU, it was Gorr who did it first. Gorr holds Thor in the sky, and before he kills him, he asks, "What was Thor the god of?" With his last breath, Thor summons a mighty bolt of lightning, separating the two. Gorr is nowhere to be found, but it looks like our young Thor is down for the count. But hey, it's good to have loyal Viking comrades, and after sleeping for 7 days, Thor wants to finish what he started. Gorr leaves a bloody trail for Thor, which eventually leads to a cave that will haunt Thor's memories for thousands of years. This is where the God Butcher taught Thor fear. Gorr was not messing around this time, and quickly wraps Thor in black chains. Gorr is confident he can torture Thor enough to snitch on his family and the other gods that he knows. He has killed gods of torture before, after all, but Thor is no snitch. He survived 17 days of Gorr's torture, and just as he's about to break, his men come to the rescue. Thor's men had no fear that day, and gladly welcomed Valhalla by attacking Gorr. Gorr is not interested in killing mortals, and tries to reason with Thor's followers, but they fearlessly give their lives, allowing Thor to finally break free. Thor cleaves Gorr with Jarnborn, and after a burst of lightning, it appears Gorr has finally been defeated, but we know this is far from over. After old King Thor and our Thor from Earth 616 team up to free Asgard, they soon gear up for the most epic fight of their lives. Gorr's plans are in full motion, as he yet again sets up a trap for our young Thor, but this time he brings him into the dark future where Gorr reigns supreme. Now, the God Butcher has almost killed all of the gods, and the few that remain are slaves who work to build the God Bomb. But as the young Thor begins to make a scene, he is soon put down by none other than his 3 granddaughters. They want to stop Gorr almost as much as he does, but for every small mistake they make, a god is killed. The remaining gods did have a plan though. However, while they were discussing the final plans, Thor casually grabs their bomb, makes it rain fire to defeat a bunch of berserkers, and then throws said bomb into the God Bomb. Young Thor is sent flying into space, but is finally united with our 2 Thors, and now, together, they will take down the God Butcher. Old King Thor's ship, it bursts through the clouds, and all 3 Thors swing their hammers downward towards Gorr. The smile of the God Butcher couldn't be any bigger as he relishes in the battle with his favorite foe, or I should say foes now. But he is not the only one getting hyped. While old King Thor fought for 900 years, he never had time to rest and recharge his Odin/Thor force. But with this epic battle, he feels thunder in his blood again, and he shoots a beam so powerful it sends Gorr flying light years away. But Gorr was obviously shook. He needed more power. More gods had to be sacrificed. So with his new power-up, Gorr summons a giant necro serpent that swallows 2 of the 3 Thors. But young Thor sends Gorr flying, all while epically riding a space shark. Now, old King Thor decides to take on the serpent by himself, so our current Thor, our Earth 616 Thor, can fight Gorr one-on-one, and it is legendary. But with every second, Gorr gains power, and 1 Thor is far from enough. The 3 Thors unite again and push Gorr into the sun in a final attempt to stop him, but it was too late. Gorr was far beyond them. Dragging the younger Thor into the God Bomb itself, Gorr prepares to make the final sacrifice. But young Thor is a complete savage and bites one of Gorr's eyes out. Now, unfortunately, all Gorr needs is a heart of a god at this point, so he basically just gets that. And this is it. The God Bomb activates. Gods across all timelines and realities begin to die with searing pain. Old King Thor could feel himself dying, but our Thor raged on like he was the last god in the universe. And at the last second, every god there ever was saw a vision, a god with 2 hammers. And for the first time, every god prayed to Thor. With a mighty swing of not 1 but 2 hammers, Thor had done the unthinkable. He had become one with the all-black Necrosword. Now powerless, Gorr falls. Now, Thor's body will eventually reject the all-black, and they kind of tease that he dies, and I mean, he's kind of quote-unquote died a lot through this series, but there's a happy ending. All 3 Thors get to live to tell the tale. They go back to where they need to be in the time stream, and Thor even brings back that planet that was praying to him their own set of new gods.